Well, hello, friends on YouTube. This is your friend Cody, host of the Pillars of Freedom podcast and the 5 day Entrepreneur Incubator Challenge. And tonight's episode is called It's Hard Because It's Important. I should have written by Gary Vee down here. It's a continuation on the series where I go live with you every single day on YouTube and add value, hopefully add value to your journey. I'd love to know, what you guys are finding from these and to document my own. And tonight's episode is really just a thought that I've been embracing slowly, reluctantly over the last 12 months as I get started in now my second business. And it's just the idea that if it's if it's important, it's going to be hard. How many of you guys have heard the phrase, nothing worthwhile comes easy? And if I can be honest with you guys, I hate that phrase so much because I want it to be easy. I honestly thought that achieving financial independence would be easier, that it would come more quickly, and especially as I watch different success stories, and you just see like these ridiculous, almost overnight success stories. You start to wonder, it's like, what's wrong with me, right? And I think for me, as I got started in business back in 2017, my first business at the time was direct sales network marketing. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Amway. I was building Amway, and I was genuinely convinced that I would go, basically from zero to $60,000 a year, of income in a year or less. I would be starting, platinum qualification in 6 months. I'd be starting Q12 in 12 months, and that, essentially my money problems would be solved. And, it was really disheartening that after, a year, I was not even remotely close. And you can imagine that was pretty discouraging because, especially as you've listened to prior episodes in this live series, I dropped out of college to build that business. And I left behind what would have been a comfortable $90,000 salary as an engineer to essentially, build that business because, again, I was convinced that I was going to retire in, 6 to 12 months. So why go to college, right? What good would that degree serve me if I was going to work for myself? Well, when I dropped out of college, I started living out of my Jeep, and I ended up living out of my Jeep for 10 months. I pulled out the back seats, built a 2x4 frame with a plywood top, with storage underneath and just enough clearance between the plywood and the ceiling. So that way I could turn my shoulders as I slept in the back of my car. And that was a very difficult experience because, as many of you guys who have lived out of your car, it's not easy. There are many little creature comforts that you just don't get. And I like to put it like this: it was like living in a double wide coffin. It was miserable. So you can imagine that when I was living out of my Jeep for 10 months and I wasn't getting the money coming in from my business, you can imagine I was pretty discouraged, right? Well, what made it worse was going broke in the process and having to get a job as a bank teller, for $14 an hour. When again, I knew that, if I had graduated even just a couple months prior, I could easily have stepped into that $90,000 a year salary. That's, would have gone from $14 an hour to like $45 an hour. Pretty mind blowing, right? Well, when I didn't get those results in my first business, I thought, you would think looking back, I might have learned my lesson. Well, I built that business for 2 years and still did not get anywhere remotely close. And honestly, I could blame, my downline, my upline, not having a local meeting in our area, whatever. But at the end of the day, it was simply me not taking responsibility for the results I said I wanted. Well, fast forward, I end up starting this business, my online business, and you would have thought that I might have learned my lesson about, how long something might actually take. Well, when I got started in this business, affiliate marketing, online sales, all that, I was convinced that I was going to, essentially build the foundation for a $60,000 a year business within the first 6 months. And that within 12 months, it would be game over. Game over. Well, here I am now 12 months later, and I am not remotely close to game over. In fact, I'm on the opposite of game over. I am on the way game over because you have to start again, right? And, for me, it's just been that, constant reproof of the idea that nothing worthwhile comes easy. And as Gary Vaynerchuk put it in a recent podcast episode that I had to re-listen to a number of times, it's as way he put it, he says, it's hard because it's important. And how many of you guys would agree that it's important to create financial independence for yourself? Yeah, I would agree too. And unfortunately, I don't want it to be hard, but that's just the way it is. And you know what, guys, this has been, if you get nothing else from this video, take this away. It's the idea that you have to at some point embrace the reality that it's going to take longer than you thought and demand more of you than you want. And for me, that looks like simply coming to terms with the work and the patience. As soon as, as soon as I let this idea start to sink in and really started to internalize the sense of patience that I needed to develop, and still the sense of tenacity to get after it every single day. Um, as soon as I let that idea really settle in, um, it started to get a little easier. And then knowing that I was going live, and still am going live every single day, publishing content daily, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, you name it. The more consistent I've been at applying myself to the work and practicing that long tail patience, honestly, it's gotten a little bit easier because I know I'm doing the work. Excuse me. And I know that it's only a matter of time, but it's still probably going to take longer than I want. Now, naively, I still believe that with a content marketing strategy, publishing every single day and having a, main, piece of content being my podcast, I can still achieve a level of financial independence within 18 to 24 months. Now, we'll find out 18 to 24 months from now how that theory worked, how that hypothesis worked out, right? But again, going back to the main idea here, it's like if you can embrace the idea that it is probably going to take longer than you thought and demand more of you than you want to give, if you're willing to apply yourself to the work, really stop hiding from it and just do it. Put your head down and stay focused and practice patience. I have that it'll work out. And for me, what that looks like is literally a daily earning of my own trust and confidence as I apply myself to going live, publishing content, etc., being able to provide value, and honestly, just putting myself out there day after day, especially when I don't feel like it. It's 10 after 10 after 10 p.m. right now, and you know, I'm supposed to be starting my evening routine 10 minutes ago. And in fact, I slammed my fist on my desk and something fell off because I realized, holy shit, it's already 10 after 10. It's already 10 p.m. and I should be doing my evening routine. But I'm committed to going live every single day on these three platforms for now, probably four as soon as my TikTok following, goes up. And it's just one of those things that I don't want to do it, but that's what's required. And I think the sooner you guys can embrace that, however far along you are in your journeys, continuing to embrace the fact that it's probably going to take longer and demand more of you than you want to give, by embracing that and practicing patience, not hiding from the work, I think the more you'll enjoy yourself in the process. And I really hope you do enjoy yourself in the process, because as someone speaking from firsthand experience who puts a lot of expectations on themselves, to not achieve it is incredibly depressing. I mean, borderline suicidal. I'm not gonna lie. I published a few episodes on, the Mon Hermes Marketing Podcast, my personal audio diary, about that struggle. Where it's like nothing's happening. I'm doing the work. I'm not, growing, in my personal relationships. I don't feel, that sense of love and connection. Why does it matter whether I live or die? And honestly, I have to fight those thoughts about every 3 months. And it's just one of those things, guys, that it's like you need to learn how to overcome, especially those darker sides of building, in silence when no one else is watching, and still going ahead and doing it. So Hope you guys found value in this. I look forward to hearing what you guys are enjoying about this series, what you like about these episodes, what you maybe want to see more of or maybe less of. Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you guys so I can tailor these daily lives for you and continue to try to add value to you in your journey and document my own. This has been Cody, your friend, host of the Pillars of Freedom podcast and the 5-Day Entrepreneur Incubator Challenge. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening on the next episode of this daily live series. We'll see you.